He said, I have prayed for you that your faith faileth not. He said, when thou art recovered, strengthen thy brethren. The word had to add priesthood in order to save Peter. In the garden of Gethsemane. And our life will not count as until we'll begin to manifest that very intent in the heart of God and come to the fullness of that manifestation. The Bible said in Ephesians chapter 4 from verse 11, it said, to some he gave to be apostles, to some he gave to be prophets, to some he gave to be evangelists, to some he gave to be pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry. And he said, until we all come to the knowledge, to the exact knowledge of the truth. And that kind of knowledge does not increase information in your mind. That kind of knowledge actually transforms you. He said that knowledge will bring you to the fullness of the measure of the stature of Christ, unto a perfect man, unto a mature man, unto a man without blemish. And so every time we open the scriptures, every time we gather in God's presence, is an attempt to unveil the standards of God so that as we behold, we are changed. I shared with us last week, Sunday, and I told us there are three major reasons why we exist. The first reason why we exist is so that we can host and represent the glory of God. That's why Paul, teaching in 1 Corinthians 11, he said, man is the glory of God. And the glory of God is not a shadow. It's not a cloud. It's not a mist. The word glory is the word kaboid. It means the essence of God. And the essence of God is threefold: his nature, his likeness, and his life. So when you find a man who is able to reflect the nature of God, the likeness of God, and the life of God, that's a man expressing the glory of God. And so existence would be a waste, except as we come to that point in spiritual maturity, where we are able to host and reflect the glory of God. And I told us the second reason we exist is to give expression to the will of God. God has a will, he has an intention, he has an agenda. And that agenda on the face of the earth will not be carried out by angelic functionaries. Angels are carrying out God's agenda as we speak now perfectly in the heavens. If you go to the heavenly realms, there are angels in their order and in their ranks, and they are giving expression to the purpose of God. In Revelation chapter 4 and verse 5, for example, we see that forever and ever, day and night, the angels are worshiping, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Nothing truncates it, because they've attained the level of perfection. But on the earth realm, the purpose of God is yet to be fulfilled. And so God is still raising and equipping men to give expression to the purposes of God. And so the second reason why we exist is to give expression to the will of God. That's what you call the kingdom. The kingdom is actually the ability to host the government of God and to express it in your context. Now, while you are doing that, Jesus said, every other thing shall be added unto you. And so the things men pursue are actually supposed to be addition to those who are living to give expression to the will of God. Because the will of God is a precursor. The will of God is a requirement, and at the same time, it's an activator of the resources of life. You will struggle unless you begin to live out the will of God. No man pursuing a divine vision is small on earth. One of the secrets of becoming big is to pursue a vision. The moment you begin to pursue and advance the will of God, everything you need will be added unto you. And so that defines the second reason why we exist on the face of the earth. And the third reason why we exist on the face of the earth, like I told us, is for intimacy. God's idea behind creation is to derive pleasure. The elders were worshiping in heaven and they said, all things were created for thy pleasure. And the way God derives pleasure is through intimacy. In Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 9, it said the Lord's portion is his people. And that's why when God created man, in Genesis chapter 3 verse 8 and 9, you hear the Bible said, in the cool of the day, the voice of God came walking in the garden. And all God did was to search for Adam. Where art thou? For intimacy to find expression. And why is that intimacy important? Because only through intimacy can divine agenda be born. The way a man and a woman engages intimacy and gives birth to an offspring, that's how divine agenda is born through intimacy. A man who does not have intimacy with God can never give birth to divine agenda. And anything he gives birth to eventually will be a bastard.